Hey folks, we're here at Plattsburgh today for the final day of practice for the Walmart FLW Tour on Champlain. Joined by Jeff Sprague, second in AOI right now, after taking the lead. Jeff, I guess my first question, you've, I assume, been all over Champlain. How did you kind of divide your time up, north, south, in between? What did your practice shape up like?
You know, I actually came here and I had anticipated on spending more time in Thai. And so I came up the first day and I practiced north. And I was like, all right, I saw some things that I liked, and I decided that I would go ahead and run to Thai on day two. Ran down there, and that lasted about 4 hours. I think the drive down was just about as long as I stayed and fished. It's definitely not what I expected, not what I would have hoped it would have been. You know, that's not to say it hasn't changed or isn't changing, but what I saw when I got down there was is not what I was looking for when I have to make that longer run. You know, so I brought it right back up to the north end here, and today was the third day. And so I actually stayed up here all day, you know, I'll say mid-lake or, you know, whatever, and then fished all the way north again, just covering as much water as I could to try to find what I like to fish.
Okay. Now, when I think of what you like to fish, I think probably largemouth, not smallmouth, and I think pretty shallow. Is that the case, or are you kind of trying to stay versatile and mix it up here?
You know what? I'm actually going to be a little versatile here. I got on some smallies. I was kind of, yeah, this old boy caught a couple smallmouth. I was kind of excited about it, you know. I wasn't so excited about those treble hooks coming back at me, but you know, it was a good time.
Well, you know, you got nets, you got a net man on the first 2 days.
I might spend half my morning picking treble hooks out of a net, you know, who knows. Okay. But no, I found some smallmouth, and I've got, you know, and there's some largemouth. They're doing everything here right now. You can find water temperature from, you know, from 77 all the way to in the 50s, the high 50s, if you absolutely. So I mean, there's fish coming, going, there now, and then they're on beds. I mean, smallies on beds, largemouth on beds. They're doing everything. So I mean, a guy could pick his poison. It's not the greatest from what I understand that this lake's ever fished, but they're going to catch them. We're going to catch them. I mean, they're there, they're coming. There's this little bit of the weather change, I think's really helped them out today. You know, some fish really started to move in and bite, I think.
Okay. It definitely does seem like, you know, it's the same old Champlain, and there are lots and lots of fish, but they're maybe a little easier to catch when they're in a more defined summertime pattern, and guys can kind of dial in on one or two things more, whereas here, like you said, they're kind of everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the deal that, you know, for me, was watching water temperature a lot of places that you went, because you may have only moved 3, 4, 5 miles. Really? Total difference, total difference.
And not even difference from out on the main part to back in a cove. It's difference from out on the main part in one place to in another
Absolutely,
place.
Absolutely. And that's what's changed. I think that's kind of got us in a little bit, because we don't realize that we just make some moves, and then but the fish are not in the same progression stages. So that's what's really tricky about this place that I learned this week, you know, is the time of year, I guess, that we're here, and the progression of the fish in the different areas of the lake, and you know, just how one side of an island is so much cooler than another. That's what's really changed, you know, my outlook and what I was looking for here, and you know, hopefully I was able to put a couple things together, and I guess we'll just see Thursday and Friday how that rolls around if we can make it to Saturday.
All right. I guess my last question, we had a lot of wind this practice. Did you feel like you were able to get to most of the places you wanted to get to and look at, or were there some parts of the lake that just you could never get on or could never really fish effectively because it was too rough?
We've had a couple little bit calm little stretches, calmer stretches, if you will, in these days. And so you kind of, if you saw that opportunity, you better have buzzed over there and checked it, you know, honestly. And that's kind of what I was able to do. You don't get to fish a long period of time just because of the amount of the lack of time that we had in the downtime on the wind. But you know, to answer the question, no, I didn't get to look at everything, but that's what the tournament's for. You know, I mean, heck,
go out there, you find something you expand.
That's it. I mean, we just go and you just keep looking at it in a derby and see if we can't find it then.
All right. Well, Jeff, thanks for stopping by, and man, best of luck. You get the AOI on the line possibly, and certainly it's always fun to be on Champlain.
It is. Great time to be here, and I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we can wrap it up and pull it together and see what happens.
All right. Good luck this week.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Next man up is Stetson Blaylock, who says he has never cashed a check in an FLW event at Champlain. I think everyone who would think about that would say, one, that's ridiculous. Two, it's going to change this week. Stetson, thanks for stopping by. I guess, how's it going out there?
It's Champlain. This thing is full of fish. I've noticed that there's a lot more small fish though, and what I mean by that is like little bitty guys. I mean, there's a lot of little fish in here, and it seems like everywhere that I've caught big ones in the past, it seems like they're the small ones are on that stuff. And I've bounced in and out. I've fished for largemouth, smallmouth. I've been all over it. I didn't go to Ticonderoga. I kind of made up my mind, being in the position that I'm in this year, to stay close, just eliminate as much of that weather being able to change the way that I wanted to fish. So. But practice was hard because we had wind every day, and we didn't really get to fish some of the stuff that I didn't get to fish the way I wanted to any day. It seemed like I had to kind of bounce around in and out and just kind of miss some key places because there was a lot of wind on it. But I think they're still going to catch them. I think it's a little bit off this time. Like I said, I didn't go down south, so I don't know what's going on down there, but it seems like the smallmouth fishing up here is a little bit slower.
All right. Now up here, have you concentrated on pretty much just smallmouth, or have you tried to double it up and get some variety? Because, I mean, you can win off largemouth right up here too.
Yeah, you know, I fished for largemouth every time I've been up here, and I did it again this time, and it just doesn't seem to me like you can mix them up. You gotta commit one way or the other. Yeah, and for me, from what I saw in practice, I'm gonna stay with the smallmouth. I just didn't see. I know there's guys catching largemouth up here, and lots of them, and there'll be some good bags caught. But the time that I spent fishing for largemouth, I just didn't get those quality ones, and I feel like my chances are better on smallmouth.
Okay, what do you think a quality bag of smallmouth is? Because I feel like later in the year when they get fatter, that's when smallmouth really typically can reign on this lake. So that you're fishing for them now I think it's interesting. What's your prognostication there?
Mainly because I've caught more what I call quality than I did largemouth. Again, I fished for largemouth, and I didn't really I'd catch one big one here, one big one there, but as far as catching those solid 3-pounders, I just didn't do it. And I feel like my chances of catching 3-pounders and with a chance of a big one are better for smallmouth. I mean, I could be wrong. Again, I've never cashed a check here, and it's you know, it's not that I haven't had good practices here. I've been around fish, been around good fish, just haven't been able to catch them in the tournament. So I got to change that around this week for sure.
All right, well, I figure you will. How do you think? Let's say you have a great tournament day, you catch everything you want to catch. Did you catch a lot of fish and cull your way up, or did you get maybe 10 bites and 5-6 of them were like the right kind of bites?
I think with as many of those little 8 and 10, 12-inch fish there are out there, I think you're going to have to cull up. I mean, I see it taking all day to catch those. It's almost like you got to weed through those little ones, even on the places where big ones live. You catch 3 or 4 little ones, then you'll catch a decent one there.
A good one.
Yeah, so it's going to be a grind. I know we're weighing in early. I noticed we're weighing in first flights at 2:30, so that's going to be, to me, I think that'll change things a little bit. It's always better for me later in the day, it seems like. So
yeah, and you guys have had these just extreme practice hours because it's light at like 4:35 in the morning now, and it's pretty much light, and it's got to be like 8:15, 9 o'clock soon probably. I mean, we're up north. You got all day to go out and find them.
Yeah. But this Champlain is so big. People that have never been here don't realize how big. When you look at a map, you say, man, that's a big lake. But when you actually get out here and try to run around, you look at your map and you're here and you just want to run over there, and it takes you 20 minutes to get over there. And if the wind blows, it takes you 30 minutes to get over there. So you just can't run around and practice the way I like to do it. You have to kind of fish a lot more in these areas up here. And I think that's one reason I haven't done as well, is because I'm used to just fishing through an area quick. If I get a bite, it's good and go on. But here you get bit everywhere you go. So you have to really know those areas that are holding those bigger fish, and I've just struggled with that in the past.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, man, here's hoping you've kind of figured out that this time around, which I think odds are you will have. So, man, good luck this week.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Next up, Tom Monsoor, Swim Jig King.
Yeah.
Tom, we're here at Champlain. I kind of figure this is probably a good lake for you. It's got some grass, it's got some brown fish, some green fish. Not quite the Mississippi River, but I feel like you must like it here.
Oh, I love it here. It's got everything. It's one of the best lakes in the country. You know, the wind can kill you, but it's one of the best lakes in the country. There ain't no doubt about it. The first day I went out and It was windy where I was fishing. You know, they're breaking over your deck a little bit. But I had 3 of them close to 5 and 1 solid 3 and some solid 2s. So it was a good 17, 18 pound day.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was, you know, I was happy with it. It wasn't on fire, you know, like I thought it would. Some of the areas I fished here before where there's a lot of those fish usually. And then Tuesday I ran to Cayuga to get my boat fixed. Had a bad coil and
back at it today.
Back at it today. Today she's running great, ran all over. Today caught a lot of smallmouth, you know, 3 pounds and under though. And I had 1 big one finally, about a little over 4 smallmouth. And then I saw some reeds that looked interesting, so I went in there and caught largemouth and smallmouth in 2 feet of water in the reeds.
No way.
I couldn't believe it. First I caught about a 2.5 pound smallmouth, and then I caught about a 5 pound largemouth.
Wow.
And I thought, wow. So I went to 3 or 4 of them little patches like that and caught fish in all of them. I couldn't believe it.
So you got fish everywhere now.
This place is unbelievable. Champlain has fish. Whatever you like to do, you can come here and do it. I like to throw my swimming jig, and I can catch smallmouth, largemouth, whatever I want to do here. It's fun. I can't wait to see how it goes. You know, the wind's not supposed to blow, so we should have a good tournament. And I think they're going to kill them. You know, it's a little tougher than normal, I think, but I still think they're going to kill them.
Yeah, I mean, a tough Champlain is still a really good place to fish, is the thing about this lake.
Yeah, I talked to Dudley and Rose. Me and Mark actually drove down to get our boats fixed together yesterday, spent the whole day. And, you know, they're talking 15 pounds, you know, they had, but I don't believe them.
You don't want to believe anyone in practice, that's for sure.
If I had 17 or 18, and I told them that, I told them the truth. I'm too old to lie.
Doesn't gain you anything at this point?
No, not anymore. Now I tell everybody everything. It don't matter anymore. When you get old, you get to do that.
All right. Well, you know, you think it's going to be a good tournament. What do you kind of feel like we're looking at as far as a winning weight? Because it sounds like you've caught some good fish, and maybe it's winning fish, maybe it's close, but what's your feeling?
Well, the secret is you got to be able to put it together every day. I just remembered where I got that big smallmouth today. I'm actually going to start there.
That's a good plan.
Because I've caught big largemouth there too, and I caught 1 fish, and it was a big one, and I left. And it's a spot where you might get more than 1. You might get a limit even.
Alrighty.
So I'm glad we talked.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I tell you what, Tom, it's a pleasure talking to you as always.
Yeah. I'll bet these guys at least 18 pounds a day. I'll bet that's what they get.
All right.
You know, they're gonna get them good, I think.
Well, hopefully you're getting them good too, and man,
I'm having fun. That's all that matters. My motor runs.
And you're catching bass.
You know, and I'm catching bass. You know, I gotta say thanks to Mercury for taking care of me. I can't believe it. I mean, I called and everybody's backed up everywhere. I mean, 6 weeks, you can't get nothing done anywhere. So me and Mark drove 15 hours, and the Mercury trailer, they took care of us. You gotta love it.
All right, well, man, thanks for stopping by, and best of luck.
Yep, thank you.